All right, this short module is a simple tool to help someone reflect on whatever issues or problems they're facing. It was developed by Mr. Anthony Yeo. He was really like the father of counseling in Singapore. And it's just a very simple tool. He used the acronym PADDY, which is the Malay word for rice, like a staple food, to help us remember these. Like it's just four simple steps. Okay, let me just quickly go through that with you. P stands for problem definition. A, attempted solutions. D, desired outcome. And I, intervention. So this four-step model really is meant to help people think for themselves and discover a solution to their own problems. It's also a way of helping us to listen attentively without judging it. And we have to go through the first three steps, and we may not even use I, the last one, intervention. And in other words, it helps us not to be too quick to offer a solution. In fact, our role is not to solve their problems. Our role actually, because many of their problems they cannot be solved. Our role is just to be there with them and know that somebody understands what they are doing and the issues that they are facing. So, P, problem definition. We ask, what is troubling you? We just ask that. And then we listen by our attentive listening. We're leaning forward, eye contact. We let them speak uninterrupted, except if we're not clear, we ask for questions of clarification so that we can better understand what the issues. And then after listening, we check, to see whether we've understood. Is this what you're saying? So we have to check that. Is this what you're feeling? Okay, so we are listening not only for the content, but the feeling. And so that's what we do after about 10 minutes of listening or so. We try to summarize what the person has said, both the content and the feelings. And just doing this actually brings a lot of comfort to the person that has spoken, because they feel that someone has listened to them. Not only what they've said, but how they are feeling. So that's what we call problem definition, or P. Next, A, attempted solutions. It says, now that we're clear about this, how have you tried to solve this problem in the past yourself? And then let them talk. And then maybe you can ask another question. What advice have your family and friends given you in the past? So you're exploring the past attempted solution. And then what happened when you tried to implement some of those ideas? So you're getting some kind of a history of how they themselves have tried to address their problem. And again, doing this just is helping them to think through carefully. And I find that by just doing this process, sometimes they come up with their own ideas of how they can address whatever issue they are facing. And then we move on to the next one, D, for desired outcome. So after I've gone through the problem definition, the attempted solutions, we ask them, well, what are you hoping for? Can you describe how you would like things to be when this problem is over? So we get them to try and imagine what the end will look like. And again, after listening for a few minutes, 8 minutes is just a guide. Then we try and summarize what we think we have heard, the whole package. The problem, how they thought to the attempted solutions, and then the desired outcome. If this problem were fixed, this is what it would look like. So note that up to this point, you have not tried to give any of your own ideas. All you have been doing is listening attentively. And so that really is a very important, what I call posture that we take. And then very often at this point, I will just pause for a while and say, okay, let's have a few moments of quiet to think whether there's anything more we can do. And so I'll take maybe even up to about a minute of just silence, just mulling over what the conversation that has just transpired before moving to the next step, intervention. And then I asked, well, what small steps can you take today that will help you move towards your desired outcome, your goal? In other words, we're trying to get them to think it's a big problem, but try to break up a big problem into small problems. Take one small step. Again, we listen first. We don't suggest anything. But it is at this stage that you may suggest what you would do if you were in his or her own, or his or her shoes. Yeah. And then you conclude by summarizing what the person can do to address the problem, combine it with your ideas if you have any, and then ask the person, what do you think about this? And then, of course, then that kind of like wraps up that particular session, and you can prepare, take notes, prepare for the next one. So this is just a simple model, PADDY, to help you guide a conversation, especially if someone has presented a problem. You go through the steps: problem definition, attempted solutions, desired outcome, and then intervention. As I said, the intervention is not necessary because many problems we cannot solve, but we are there to be with them, to listen to them, and to know that someone is with them in their problem. So that's the end of this module. Any questions?
Do you apply this sometimes to yourself when you face problems?
Oh yes, of course. Yes, this is just a simple a way of yeah. Of course, you can discuss it with others too. That's good as well.
Yeah.